When am I going to be getting my gifts from you? I have been waiting this whole time for you to message me or something about giving me my gifts, Ruby. What? Your gifts? You've heard about how Richard is moving up in the world at work, right? I thought it was pretty normal for a mom to want to give her son and his wife gifts after succeeding as much as he has. Things like a nice watch and jewelry, or maybe money to go out to a really fancy dinner. Is that not going to be coming to us or something? I've heard about him getting that promotion, but I'm sorry, Leah. My family's never been really that big on celebrating things like that, at least not with gifts. What? So you're telling me there are no presents or anything coming from you then? I've been waiting this whole time for something to come, though. I feel that Richard would be far more happy to get a gift from you for his success than from me. So please treat him to something nice as his wife. Huh? Why do I have to be the one to treat him to a gift? I've been the one supporting him day and night so that he could get that promotion. In other words, his success is the result of both our hard work. I should be getting treated to something for his success as well and not have to be the one treating him. What? This is why I want you to do something for once and treat us for our success. I've been waiting a long time now for you to send me some kind of a text about the presents we should be receiving. Excuse me? And one other thing. Could you hurry it up with the money we need to pay for our wedding? I have been waiting for you to get back to me about that for a long time now. I've already sent you the cost of the wedding and everything like that, so get to it and get that money over to us. Wait a second. What do you mean you want money from me for your guys' wedding as well? We were just talking about Richard's promotion and now we've jumped over to talking about your guys' wedding? You say we jumped to it like this came out of nowhere for you. Isn't it normal for you, the mother of Richard, to be the one helping us pay for his wedding? What? What is going on with these reactions of yours? Are you going to tell me now that this is also something you guys don't do in your family? Well, normally it's the husband and wife that'll end up paying for the wedding, right? I can totally agree with us paying a small portion of the wedding costs, but I will most certainly not be paying for the whole thing. Why not? This wedding is going to be the wedding of your oldest son, right? The wedding of the very important firstborn son of your family, right? Yet you're trying to tell me that you're not going to be paying for his whole wedding? This is very strange if you ask me. I can see what you're trying to get at there, but this family does not treat the firstborn any different from the rest of my children. And in this family, he doesn't get treated any better or raised any differently in the hopes he'll someday be taking over a family business. But it is a fact that Richard is the firstborn son of your household, right? Which means when you ever have a problem or something goes sideways, he's the first person you'll be relying on, right? Well, that's because he's family. We will get in touch with him whenever there's something we need. Then I think right now is the best time to show your thanks to us for the future of us always having to be there for you, don't you? If you don't start showing us how much you want our help, then expect for your future to not be as bright as you might be hoping. What was that? Now hurry it up and get that money ready for us. This is the wedding of your very important firstborn son, after all. Hey, Richard, have you and Leah really not saved up any money for your wedding? And that's why you and her were showing me how much the wedding would cost in total?
What? What are you talking about? I thought it was pretty obvious that I'd be paying for our wedding. If me, the groom, won't be the one paying for the wedding, then who will be?
What? Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Wait, did you think me showing you the bill for the wedding meant that I was waiting for you guys to pay for it? Oh, sorry about that, Mom. Leah had just been whining in my ear over and over about showing you how much the wedding would cost. So to get her to shut up, I went and showed you to the bill and all that.
Well, if that's the case, then okay. But are you really going to be able to pay for all of it? Because I was just told by Leah herself that she wanted me to start getting the money for the whole wedding prepared and sent over to her.
What? Leah said that to you?
Yeah, I was shocked when she told me that.
Wait. Leah doesn't have a reason to be saying something like that to you, right? What's going on with you, Mom?
What?
I plan on paying for the whole wedding myself, and Leah should already know about that. Yet you're now telling me she comes to you and asks that you pay for the whole wedding? There's something not quite right about that, Mom.
But I really did receive a text from her saying that. She thinks that because you're the oldest son in the family, your parents should be the one paying for your wedding. Ah, and she was saying that us paying for the wedding would be for your dad's and my future as well. Richard, please don't tell me you're not telling me the whole story here, and that you really are trying to get money from your dad and I right now?
I would never do something like that to you guys. And your guys' future? We aren't planning on ever moving in with you guys or anything then. So I'm not sure why you giving us money for the whole wedding means anything there. Even you and Dad want me living in my own separate house in the future, right?
Well, I hope that's the case then. But why would she bring something like that up with me when she should already be aware of your plans?
I'm not really sure myself, but perhaps there was something I said that made her a bit confused? Or maybe... could this be her feeling a bit nervous about getting married to me and all that? We are planning on having a very expensive wedding, so perhaps the cost of the wedding is making her worried about our future together?
According to that bill, it sure does seem like you two want to have one gorgeous and extravagant wedding. $80,000 for a wedding is almost 3 times as much as your dad and I spent on ours. We are both very surprised by that amount.
Well, I might have gone a little overboard in order to impress Leia more. She has always been really good with her money and has saved up a lot in her life so far. When we'd go out on dates, she'd never ask that I pay all that much. And when it came to giving her presents, she never asked for anything all too expensive. When it came to her engagement ring, she told me to keep the price of it very low.
Wow, is that right?
So I'm starting to think that me asking for this huge wedding is a bit of a mistake on my part. Before she told me that we didn't even need to have a wedding or anything. But of course, I can't marry her and not give her a wedding. Also, I'm really looking forward to seeing her in a white wedding dress. I also told her that our parents would really look forward to us having a wedding, so we should be doing it for them as well. That at least got her feeling alright about us having this whole wedding.
No, wait a minute. You had to tell her that in order to get her to allow you two to have a wedding? You've made it look as though it's your dad and I that want you guys having this wedding, and less about what you both want? I can see now why she really wanted us to pay for it.
Wait, you think so? Oh, well, I'm sure you guys really have been wanting me to have this wedding, right? You're going to be given the chance to see your son get married to a wonderful woman.
Well, of course we're happy about that.
Anyway, you and Dad don't have to worry about paying for anything, alright? You guys already know I'm making enough to pay for everything, no problem. So you can just ignore anything else Leah tells you.
I cannot believe that you guys didn't even give us a single penny for this wedding. What the hell is going on here, Ruby? What? Once the wedding was over, I went and looked inside that envelope you handed Richard. All you gave us was $10,000. Are you trying to make us feel bad or something? Even when not paying for the whole wedding like you should be, I expected at least $30,000 from you and your husband. This was the wedding of your firstborn, and this is how we're going to be treated? What is wrong with you? Now, could you please calm down there, Leah? That $10,000 was meant to be quite a lot from us two. Also, it seems that you are still a bit confused on what happened with your wedding, so I'll explain this again. In this family, my husband and I do not treat our firstborn kids differently from the rest of the kids. So please do not keep expecting us to give him some sort of special treatment or anything because of that. But this is your oldest's wedding, right? And he'll be the one getting everything from you guys later on, right? On the internet, it says that the firstborn son is always treated with the most respect in the family. That's why I assumed you guys would be paying for his whole wedding. What? At the start, I never wanted us to have a wedding. Richard kept going on about how he'd use his savings to pay for the whole thing, but we're already married, and that means his money is my money now. So even if he's willing to pay for the whole thing, it's my money that's being used to do so. But he told me that we had to have a wedding because you and your husband have really been looking forward to one. So I just assumed that you guys would be the ones paying for this whole wedding on our behalf. Then my money wouldn't have to be wasted on anything, and I could use it for myself. I can see there are a lot of things going on here. I think that the reason for all this confusion is due to you misunderstanding him. But also, you seem to think that all the money he made while single has become yours now? Also, that reason for thinking my husband and I should be paying for his whole wedding? Shut up! I'm not going to listen to some old hag nag me about any confusion when she didn't even fork over a single penny for the wedding. Did you just call me an old hag? I've had enough of this. Before today, you didn't give us anything to celebrate your son's promotion, and now you're not paying for any of the wedding. If you're just going to turn a blind eye to your firstborn son and his wife like that, then I'll be doing the same thing to you guys. He and I are now married, so we're not going to bother with you anymore. Don't expect us to ever be there for you guys in the future when you're both old and frail requiring our care, you old penny-pinching hag. So now you're calling me a penny-pinching old hag? You act very different when my son is not around to witness you. I'm not sure what about the way you act makes you the wonderful woman he always bragged about. Huh? You think I'm really that stupid to ever act like this in front of the man who thinks I'm calm and cute? The reason that I married him is because he likes me, and I like him. I never got married to him to try and impress you and your husband, all right? And so far, I can tell you're trying to do anything but impress me. I want presents, I want money. And I have every right to be asking that from you. I'm the wife of your very important firstborn son. That's why I ask all of that from you. I hear all the time about how the firstborn son is supposed to be treated the best by his parents. And of all my friends that are married to the firstborn son, they always go on and on about how wonderful life is being spoiled by their in-laws. Some of them even got their house from their in-laws or a brand new car. And that's why I was thinking by being married to Richard, I would be blessed with the exact same things. That's a rather presumptuous hope that you have there. I understand that there are families out there that favor their oldest son most over anyone else. But hearing his wife say that she wants that from us, his parents? Well, I'm not going to hope from that from you guys anymore, so relax. But because of that, I want you and your husband to never ask anything from us. I'm not going to care for you in your old age when you're going to keep on acting like the penny-pinching old hag that you are. Since this is all going so well, how about we both cut ties to you guys as well? Excuse me? Well, you and your husband don't seem to want to do anything for us anymore, so all you are now is in the way of our beautiful future as husband and wife. And I don't want to have to deal with either of you getting in the way of Richard and I when you're too old to go to the toilet yourselves. Caring for your old butt is a big N-O from me. I'm going to have us cut ties to your moneyless butts right away. Well, then Richard can say goodbye to that promotion he got. What? I completely understand now what you seem to think of my husband and I. I'm not sure where your values lie when it comes to being part of our family and his wife, but from what I heard you just say to me, you only want to be around his in-laws if they're willing to hand you everything on a silver platter. If that's all you're here for, then we'll cut ties to both of you as well. And us cutting ties to you both means that Richard will no longer get his promotion. Then we might even have him quit his job at the company. Huh? I have no idea what's going on now. What exactly are you trying to say to me that would make me think you could ever decide that for Richard? Well, I have the ability to talk to the CEO about this and have him take that promotion away. Huh? You can talk to the CEO? That's right. Do you understand what I'm talking about now then? I'm the CEO of the company he's working for after all, so I can just tell myself to take that promotion from him and boom, it's gone. So if we're cutting ties to one another here, then He doesn't need that pretty little promotion he was gifted. And I can't just have him work for my company any longer as my son if we're going to be cutting ties to one another like you said. So I'll have him leave his position in the company as well. Wait, what is all this? I still cannot understand what's going on here. You're his CEO? Ruby? And Richard works for you? Is that right? I never heard a single thing about this, though. I'm sure you haven't, Leah. And that's because Richard never wanted to tell anyone about it. What? Actually, in his past, he had his one girlfriend that ended up talking with him about all of this, and that turned her behavior from being a lover for him into being a lover for his money. He also told some of his friends about my position as a CEO, and soon after that, they would never stop asking to borrow money from him. That soon became a real problem for him. So when he entered my company and started working, he made sure not to say a thing about his situation to anyone. That's why even in the company, there's not a single person that knows about Richard being my son. What? Nobody knows about who he is then? When being hired by the company, he made sure to practice hard and take the same interviews as everyone else. And this promotion he just received a few weeks ago was also due to his own abilities and wasn't just handed to him over nothing. But that's too bad for him. All that work he put in was for nothing now because his wife wants for both his parents to leave him alone forever. Poor guy. I feel bad doing this to him, but I have no other choice now. You are the one pressuring for us to cut ties to you both, just like you want to do to us now. This is such an unfortunate turn of events for everyone involved. Wait. I didn't actually hear anything about this being a thing. I just wanted to be a good wife for Richard, yet I was never told all of this important information by anyone. I never knew he was the son of a CEO like you. I'd actually been wanting to tell you all about this for the past few months now. But Richard wanting things to stay a secret from you, and so I had no choice but to keep my mouth shut as well. I feel so bad about that, but he is your husband, and this is all what he wanted. There's no way. I'll make sure to go and talk with Richard about both him leaving the company for me and about how we're all going to be cutting ties to one another now. Now you and him live a wonderful life together as husband and wife for me, please. Wait, please! I think I might have misunderstood some things. I was just comparing what all my friends had to what I was getting, and it made me feel terrible. And, well, that led to me thinking of you as some penny-pinching old hag, and that's why we started to treat you so poorly. All right, I understand that. I happen to have lots of friends with mother-in-laws just like that as well. They're married to the firstborn son, and they get treated to all sorts of things by their in-laws. Even getting money from their in-laws whenever they ask for it. Right? And that's why I totally understand how you must have felt when you married my oldest son and became my daughter-in-law. But the way you acted out at me was both rude and childish. So I'm no longer going to sit around and take it from you. I can't anymore, actually. It's one thing for you to want this kind of treatment from his parents, but it's something completely different when you start to call me horrible names and threaten me with cutting ties to us. Right? You've really made me think twice about you now as my daughter-in-law. I hope you won't ask me to forgive you now after all those heartless things you've just been saying about me. I'll make sure that Richard is no longer working for me in the next few days. Have a wonderful day, Leah.
Thank you for coming to the wedding yesterday. Also, thank you for talking with me about all those things. I never thought that Leah would be saying such things to you behind my back. It's so hard for me to take in even now.
I can totally understand. It's hard for you. You have been in love with her so much, and she was what you thought to be the one meant for you.
But even if it's hard for me to accept, it's a fact that she acted way too far out of line then. That's why I'll be handing in my 2 weeks' notice really soon here. I hope you make sure to handle all that then after for me.
Wow, you seem to be completely fine with what I'd wanted yesterday then. I thought you'd be against leaving the company and would instead divorce her in order to save your job.
Well, I'm partially to blame for all this as well. I was the one that pressured her into having the wedding, by telling her you guys and my parents were really looking forward to one. Had it all been her fault, then maybe I'd be wanting a divorce right about now. Also, we only just had the wedding yesterday. I was actually wanting to find myself a new job in the next year or two, so this will make for the perfect chance to do just that.
What? You were thinking about leaving my company for another job?
While working for you, I've always been a bit worried about someone finding out that I'm your son and all that. Especially during this recent promotion, I was really worried someone would think I didn't obtain it with my own strength, and that there was something else at play. Really, I just think I'd feel better working somewhere else besides your company. I hate to say that because, in all honesty, I don't think it would be that big of a deal if people within the company found out I'm your son. But then again, I don't want to deal with all the hassle.
Richard.
So, with what's happened recently, I think I'll make this the perfect opportunity to leave your company. I'll find myself a new company to work for, and there I'll continue to work hard so that I can get back up to the same level I left your company at. I want to know that there is nobody within the company who thinks I was handed all my promotions. I think that alone will make work a lot more relaxing for me.
That's a very good thing to do then for yourself. I know that once you leave, I won't be able to watch your back anymore, but at the same time, you seem to be very responsible for yourself, so I know you'll be just fine. And of course, I never once handed you anything while you worked for me, so I have full confidence that you can work your way up in a new company in no time.
Thank you, Mom. I'll do my best. I just hope that after everything that's happened with you and Leah, you don't think of her as a complete witch. I've learned a lot about her bad habits now, but I know deep down she still has all those good things I love about her. So I'll make sure, as her husband, that she works harder to fix those habits and turn herself into an even better woman.
If that's what you want to do, then I support you fully. But that support will only come from my heart, as for the time being, I won't be coming anywhere near you and her. I am so sorry about what happened yesterday. After that, I had a lot to talk about with Richard, and he told me a bunch more. From what it sounds like, you really are the CEO of the company he's working for. I am so sorry for acting like such a reckless person yesterday without ever knowing a thing about you. You really don't have to apologize to me like that. After a good night's sleep last night, I have been able to move past what happened then and am totally okay now. Then that means the both of us can start working towards becoming really close as a family. We can completely forget about everything that went down, and both you and I can become really good friends. Oh my, is that what that's all about? I thought you saw no merit in being part of my family. Aren't I supposed to be that penny-pinching old hag that you continue to call me all the time? What? I might not be upset about what happened yesterday anymore, but that does not mean I'm just going to forget about it. I'm sure you might have different opinions now compared to yesterday, but we promised to cut ties to one another, and that's what's going to happen. Isn't that all you wanted from me when we finished our little conversation yesterday? You have to be kidding me, right? Can't we just forget about wanting to do any of that? I happen to be a CEO and have a lot of things to do with the company I run, so there's no time for me to be playing games with you or your feelings anymore. No, I'm really sorry that you feel that way about all that. I'll apologize to you in person for all that, okay? So please just forget I ever mentioned wanting us to cut ties. I can't do that anymore. I told you I don't have time for games, and right now what you're asking me to do is continue with your games. And I've already gone and started working on ending my son's position within the company. He was the one that handed me his 2-week notice just a little bit ago, so there's really no stopping it now. What? He's already handed you his 2-week notice? He was right on it after we talked. Let me tell you, even he had been wanting to leave my company, so there were no hard feelings. That's a lie. Why would he want to leave your company like that? If he does that, he's giving up any chance he had of becoming the next CEO after you leave, right? That means I'll never be able to become the wife of a successful CEO in the future then. He was never going to just become the next CEO after me, Leah. If he were to work even harder and show me that he wanted the position, then I'd totally be fine with him having it. But now that he's told me he had plans to leave the company for months now, I can see even he doesn't want to become the next CEO. And I'm totally okay with that, because I'd rather make someone from within my company the next CEO, as they're showing me they want to support this company with their everything. What should I do? I was thinking this was my chance to become the wife of a CEO, but because of what I've done, I've led my husband to leave his mother's company, forfeiting any chance he had at becoming this next CEO. You really did throw away your one and only chance. Please, allow me to get him to stay within your company instead of leaving it. Then will you please let him be the next CEO? If you can do that for me, then I'll make sure to be the best daughter-in-law you've ever had. No, thank you. I happen to be this really bad, penny-pinching old hag, so I would never accept even your most sincere apologies. Therefore, let that be my goodbye to you now. After that, Leah tried her hardest to both get Richard to stay within my company and to get me to turn back from wanting to cut ties to her. But then Richard told her one day to cut her crap and take responsibility for the words she'd said to me before. He told her that if she continued to try and get closer to me, that he'd divorce her, because he cannot trust a woman to be his wife who thinks they can just take their words back in an instant and change their attitude like she was trying to do. Following that, Leah stopped trying to fix the mess she created for herself and now cries day and night about losing her one and only chance to become the wife of a CEO. When it comes to Richard, he was able to find himself a new job in just a few weeks, although he won't be making nearly as much as he was before. However, the anxiety of being the son of the CEO was no longer bothering him there, and he was able to relax while doing his job.
Zoe, I'm so sorry about what happened 7 years ago. Ever since then, I really regretted what I've done to you.
What?
I'm sure that after all this time, you still haven't forgiven me, right? You had your husband stolen from you by your little sister after all. You should still despise me for what I did back then, right?
Well, of course I do. No matter how much time goes by, I'm never going to be forgiving you for any of that. Now, what is going on with you coming out of nowhere to apologize to me? You were the one that stole Tom from me, and then the both of you treated me like a complete idiot because I couldn't get pregnant. And in the end, neither of you even ended up giving me any money for what happened, instead running off to never speak to me again.
And I'm very sorry about what happened then, but Well, I'd like for the both of us to start working on becoming good sisters again.
Huh? You want us to become close again?
I understand that what I'm saying right now probably doesn't sound all too enticing to you, but I really want to see you again. I want for us to become close again by going out to eat together and things like that.
What is going on with you right now? This is all so sudden. For some reason, you're wanting to be my friend again, and I want to know why.
Well, it's been 7 years since all that happened between us, and since then, I've learned a lot of things. Back then, I didn't mind the fact that I had just lost a member of my family. But recently, after watching loads of family dramas and stuff, I've started to realize that I need a sister like you by my side again. Everything has started to make me really realize that what I'd done back then was horrible. It's been pretty tough for me, because everyone pretty much left me after what I've done, and I've had nobody to count on at all. I've really been regretting all the stupid things I've done in my life to you.
Alexis.
I'm sure it's way too late for me now, but I hope that you and I can meet again. I'd like to apologize to you in person, and if it makes you feel any better, I can even pay you back for what had happened then. So I'm really wondering if you'll let me have one chance to come and see you.
I never once thought that the next time I'd hear from you, you'd be wanting to apologize for what you did to me. But I'm sorry. It's going to take me a bit to think about all this through. Can you give me a little bit to think over wanting to see you again or not?
That's totally fine. I'm happy to hear that you're even willing to think about it. I'll be waiting for your answer now. I'll be waiting for the day you want to have me around you again. Hey, Mom? did you get any messages from a really weird person just a bit ago?
Huh? Weird person.
Mom, I just got back home from school, and, well, there was this really weird person standing outside of the house. They were just standing there in front of the house looking at their phone the whole time, well, smiling with a huge grin. It was scary, so instead of going towards the house, I ran away. And right now, I'm at the park close to the house.
What?
Also, that weird person was looking through the mailbox. That's why I made sure to take a picture of them before running away. They looked like they were doing some bad thing, so let's take this picture to the police. Okay, Mom?
Wait a second, Ellie. Was that weird person a girl by any chance?
Yeah. They looked like a girl to me.
Alexis was
They
able to make it to my
looked
house
just a
and
bit
collect her
like you,
husband like I
actually.
asked, but he made
I was about
sure
to
that
say
I'd at
hi
least
thinking
got
you were
child
her,
support
but
I needed
I
for
was
the past
wrong.
7 years. I see. So on his way
Sorry,
out,
think
he
that
left a
that's
bit of
someone
money in my
might be someone I
mailbox for
happen
me to
to
get
know.
later on. I think that money will be
But I'll
good.
head home right now to make sure.
I think
so
that
while I'm
money
doing
will
that,
be a
you can
good
wait at the
use to
park.
Ellie, so I'll make sure to
What?
put it in the savings
You know
account
that?
to be used by her
If anything,
when she goes
that
to college.
might actually be my little sister.
After getting Tom
so
back
later
in
on,
their
I'd like you to
possession,
show me the
Alexis
picture
started
you
to
took
look
of them.
even further into what he was up to
What?
and found out that he had
No
gotten life
way.
insurance for her.
Back in the day, I had a huge
This
fight
is
with
when
my
she
little
realized
sister,
that he was
and she
planning on
started
taking
texting
out
me
all
again,
the money
asking me to
from it
make up.
after she hopefully died from her illness.
Are you
which
going to
caused
make
her
up with her
flip out,
and then
he
become
used
friends?
all that insurance money to come back
Well,
to
about
me.
that, I think I
This
might
led her
come
to say
around
that she'd
forgiving
never
her
let
for what
herself
she
die
did.
to her sickness and made sure that she
You
was on the
shouldn't do
waiting
that,
list for
Mom.
the donor.
I don't think you should become friends again with someone like
I
that.
guess she really can wait a
What?
little while for a donor to come along, and all
They're
she
really
really
scary
needed to do
looking,
was
Mom.
that.
I thought something
And all
might
she
be
really
up
needed to
with
do
them,
that was
so
the
I
incentive that her
went in
husband
for a
would be getting
closer
a lot
look
of money if she
before
passed
running.
away.
But right as I got a good look at them,
And all she
they were
really
looking
needed
at
was
their
that
phone with
incentive
this
that her
huge,
husband would be
scary
getting a
smile
lot
on
of
their
money
face.
if she passed away.
And as I started
Thank
to
you
run
for
away,
watching
they
and
began
listening. We hope you
laughing
enjoyed the
all by
video. Don't
themselves.
forget to like and
You
video.
should become friends with someone
Don't
like
forget to
that
like
again.
this video and
I think they're
subscribe.
crazy.
Also, feel free to leave a
Was she
comment
really
about what
that
you thought of the
scary to
story.
you?
We look forward to seeing you in the next
Do
story.
you remember how I told you about the fight I had at school with another friend of mine? And how I wanted to be friends with them again, but didn't want to say sorry? Well, you cheered me on and said I should say sorry to make things better, and so I did that today.
That's amazing, Ellie. So you and your friend are good friends again, right?
Yes, we are. But I was very scared about whether she'd forgiven me or not, and it took a lot of strength to tell her I was sorry. I really wanted to stay friends with her, and my heart was racing wondering what her answer might be. I wasn't able to laugh about anything, or even smile when I was thinking about being forgiven. Well, that person I saw in front of the house didn't seem to feel the same way I did when I was apologizing to my friend.
I see. So she wasn't as worried as you were about getting an answer today. Thank you for telling me that, Ellie. That weird person might not be as serious about their apology as you were with your friend. I'll have to think about this more now. Well, I'm going to start coming to the park to see you now. You and I can head home together then.
Were you able to put some thought into letting me see you again? Even Tom is wanting to come out and apologize to you now. So that's why I'm thinking the three of us can go out to eat somewhere together. I happen to know a really nice place in town.
Sorry, Alexis. I think after all the thinking I've had, I'm still not going to be able to forgive you. So I'm not going out to eat with you guys, and we won't be meeting at all.
What? Why are you saying something like that? You heard from me just a couple weeks ago how serious I was about making up with you, and you told me you think about it.
I did think about it. In the end, I've chosen that I cannot forgive you yet.
Why not? I told you I'd be willing to pay off that settlement you wanted from me, right? You're being a total jerk by saying you won't come out to meet and forgive me. Both myself and Tom wanted to go out and apologize to you from our hearts.
Well, then let me ask you this. Since you want to apologize to me so badly, how much are you willing to give me in order to pay off the settlement? $100, $200, or are you thinking of only handing me a $10 bill?
What?
I was thinking about you a lot after you first got back in touch with me again, and so I spoke with one of your friends, and guess what they told me? They said that right now you're struggling a lot with money, and as of right now you seem to be borrowing money from a lot of different people. So with all that financial trouble you're in at the moment, how much were you going to be able to actually pay me?
Wait a second. You were messed up for going around and asking about me like that. And why does it matter to you how much I'm going to give you? You should be most worried about the amount of emotion I put into my apology to you. Right?
If you really seem to care about your apology that much, then what you said to me over text should have been enough for me. Thank you for 7 years worth of apologies, Alexis. I'm not going to forgive you any, but I will be accepting your apology. Now have a good one.
Wait! Zoe! Do not leave me like that so quickly. I want to see you in person to apologize to you. So please, just allow for Tom and I to come out and see you.
Why do you want to come out and see me so badly only to apologize? Do you plan to get something else from me by seeing me in person?
Well,
if you're really not going to be able to tell me what you really want, then you must not really be needing to see me. I sure don't want to see you any, so goodbye.
I'll tell you. So wait, this is not over yet. I really just wanted to meet with you in order to get one of your kidneys. And that's why meeting you in person would be the easiest way to get you to sign the documents. Please. I've told you what I really want from you now, so please come see us.
Huh? Wait a minute. You want me to donate a kidney to you? One of my kidneys?
I'm sure that hearing all of this is suddenly very shocking to you. That's why I wanted to see you in person, so we could talk about it.
Whether it was over text or in person, I'd be having the same reaction. What is going on, Alexis? Have you ended up becoming sick or something, requiring you to get a new kidney?
That's right. Just as you said, I'm sick and in need of a kidney transplant. Last year, I had been going to the hospital a lot more for some treatments, and I mean a lot. But after getting another exam done this year, it appears things have only gotten worse. The doctor told me it's time to start thinking about finding myself a donor, and so that's why I'm asking you now.
You're kidding me, right? I never thought my own little sister would become so sick.
I'm the same way right now, and can't believe that this is happening to me. But it really is fact that I'm terribly sick right now, and will need to have something major done in order to recover. So please, can you be my donor, Zoe? I'm sure you'll be fine with doing that, right? The doctor has already told me that since you're my sister, you'll be the perfect match for me. And since we all have 2 kidneys, you losing one wouldn't be a problem for you.
I'm sorry, Alexis. I don't like having to say this, but I'm not going to become your donor.
Why not? I'm really, really sick right now, and I came forward to tell you the truth about it just then. What the hell is wrong with you saying no like that?
I'm sure you're aware that even though you came forward and told me you're sick, that doesn't automatically mean I'm going to become your donor, right? I'm sure that you can find yourself someone else willing to help.
But that's going to take even more time, and by the time I do find someone, I might be in critical condition. Normally, people have to be on a waiting list for a donor, and that could take months. I can't be asked to wait that long, so I'd like for my family to become my donor. It'll make things a lot faster for me, and I won't become as sick from waiting.
Is that right?
Both Mom and Dad are gone now, so the only person in my immediate family that I can ask is you. I'm sure it won't be that big of a deal for you to lose one of your kidneys and give it to me, right? You don't have a husband or any kids, so there's nobody else relying on you right now. You have nobody else to help around you, so help me, please. Just give me one of your kidneys and be happy about it.
Excuse me?
I have come a long way to apologize to you like that, so why don't you just shut up and give me your kidney? You have no right denying me one when you are barely useful to this world as things are, not being able to have any kids or find a man. If you want to have at least a slight amount of meaning in your life, then give me one of those kidneys and let's be done with this. You have no other uses in this world, you infertile freak, so help me out.
Yo, you have no right to be saying things like that about me, Alexis. Do you have any idea how much you're saying to me right now isn't helping your case? You told me that you've grown since you'd done that to me 7 years ago, right? But from what I'm seeing you say to me right now, I don't think that's the truth.
What's wrong? You have no idea how I'm feeling right now about you, so you have no room to talk. Being as sick I am right now has led me to so stress out and worried if I'm going to live until tomorrow or not. And while going through all this stress, I had to force myself to talk to you. I had to make it seem like I was sorry and apologize to you. That's how stressed and worried I am about myself right now. I was willing to actually talk to you because that's how badly I need your kidney.
So all those apologies were a lie then. I knew it. You never learned from anything you did back then whatsoever. All that talk about how sorry you felt about stealing my husband was in order to get one of my organs.
But look! If you actually do go through with giving me one of your kidneys, then I might really say that I'm sorry for what I've done in the past.
What was that?
You should honestly be happy that I'm going to give you a use by using you as a donor. And then after that, you and I can become sisters again, right? So come on now and be my donor. As it's not like you're going to have a family of your own in the future. That's all for the sake of your important little sister. So you'll help me out now, right?
Who is this old hag?
What?
Look, right now my mom is looking really sad and confused. My mom told me that you're supposed to be her little sister, but I don't think that's true. I never thought that family would ever make someone else so sad like you have. So, you're not my mom's sister at all, are you? Who are you?
Huh? What is this? What's going on here? I want to know who the hell you are.
I'm Ellie. I'm my mom's daughter. I'm 7 years old. Nice to meet you.
What?
Now, it's your turn, you hag. I introduced myself, so now it's your turn.
I'm Alexis. I happen to be your mom's little sister.
How old are you?
I'm in my 30s now.
Then you are an adult. If that's true, then you apologize to my mom right now.
What? Why should I apologize to her?
Because you hurt her. You should be sorry about that. You're an adult, so you should understand that, right?
Huh?
Hurry up and apologize to her. My mom looks so sad right now, so I'm asking you to apologize to her right now, you old hag. You're supposed to be family, right?
Hold on a second. I want to make sure you're really her daughter first. Did she really give birth to you?
Of course she did. I do not tell lies.
Wait. This is all way too strange. My older sister can't have kids, so how did she end up having someone like you?
Hey, how much longer is it going to take for you to apologize to my mom? If you aren't going to apologize for hurting her, then you don't deserve to talk with her at all.
What?
I thought you were old enough to be an adult by now, but I think I'm going to have to teach you. When you should be feeling bad for what you've done, you should be apologizing from your heart to the person you've hurt. My mom has told me that plenty of times, so I'd like you to remember that as well. If you're not going to give an honest apology, nobody is going to want to forgive you.
Hey, Zoe. What the heck was all that about yesterday? That was all a lie, right? You haven't actually given birth to any kids, right?
It wasn't a lie. She happens to be the child of both myself and Tom before you stole him from me. Right after the divorce, I learned that I was in fact pregnant with her.
What? That's Tom's and your girl?
I was going to tell him about her back then, but I reconsidered doing that and thought it would be better to stay silent. I didn't really know where you guys ran off to anyway, so I chose to have my daughter by myself.
You're lying, right?
Tom has no clue about any of this. That's because I never came around to telling him anything. But because I never decided to have him get involved, I've been left with someone that I have to care for and raise. In order to raise her as an only parent, I've had to strengthen up quite a bit and work a lot of hours. And whenever I do get days off, I use all that time tending to her instead of myself. So because I'm such a busy woman, I can't take any time off to give you one of my kidneys.
No way.
From what I've seen online, it shouldn't take you that long to be matched with someone willing to donate their kidney. And honestly, have you checked with Tom at all to see if he's a match?
I know that he's a match for me, but he told me he's not willing to give me one of his kidneys, so that's why I'm not asking him anymore. He's told me that the surgery will hurt and that he doesn't want to go through that kind of pain. No matter what I've brought up to him, he keeps saying no, so I've stopped trying. That's why I've turned to embarrassing myself by acting like that. I was sorry.
I see. So that's how all of this came about. Actually, back when him and I were together and trying to make a baby, he'd say the same kinds of things to me. I wanted for the both of us to go get treatments and help so that we could have a baby, but he'd always tell me no because he's afraid of the doctor. And that he was also embarrassed by that fact that we needed help with infertility. I came to think that if he wasn't willing to work with me to have a baby, then it was never going to work for us.
What? Why would he have to go with you for treatments if You were the one that was infertile.
Ah, that's right. I never was the one that needed the treatments. Yet you and Tom, for some reason, kept on blaming me for not being able to carry a child, as though I was actually the problem in the first place. Do you know how badly that made me feel back then?
No way.
But even with him never going to get the treatments he needed, Tom was able to get me pregnant the last time. And that's why I care for my daughter with all my heart, and I'm never going to let anyone get in the way of that happiness I have with her. Now you and Tom do your best fixing your health. I have nothing to do with you, so you can go ahead and leave me alone.
Zoe, did Tom end up going to you? I found a letter from him saying that he wanted to go and live with his daughter. I think he's going to leave me and went back to be with you again.
Thank you for getting in touch with me. Do you think you can come over here right now to get your husband? I tossed him off the front patio, but he's just standing out in my front yard being a little dick.
You're kidding me, right? He's already there!
When he learned about how I had a daughter, he thought he could come back to me and has been trying his hardest to do so. Which is strange after all he'd done in the past to make me feel terrible and run away with you. Did you know he came to the front door telling me that he's always loved me and that he wants me to be his wife again? It's annoying.
What the hell? Does he think he can just go right back to you now?
I think he doesn't want to care for his sick wife any longer.
There's no way in hell. He's messed up completely. I'm not going to allow him to run away from me.
Please come over here and take him back. It would really help to have one horrible person come here and take the other horrible person away from me. I really don't want to have anything to do with either of you, so hurry it up, please. I'm getting tired of seeing him on his hands and knees begging for my forgiveness after trying to hand me all that money.
Money?
He said it's for the settlement I've been wanting and for child support for the past 7 years. In total, that was around $200,000 he brought me. He told me that it was his payment for allowing him back into my life. What a dick.
$200,000? Wait a sec. Where did he get all that money from?
He's told me that he borrowed all of it before coming to my house. He also told me that he used your name in order to get all the money.
Huh? So he borrowed all of that with my name?
He's assuming that you're going to die soon, so all of that debt that you have will just vanish afterwards. So he wants to use that $200,000 in order to bring him back the life he had before with me. He wants the three of us to be together as a happy little family.
What a jerk! He just assumes that I'm going to die and that's why he borrowed all that money? And he's going to use that money to get back together with you? Is he even human? No way!
He sure is a jerk and quite the idiot as well. I told him I don't ever want him back in my life and said that things were completely over between us. So can you hurry over here and take him back home with you? If you continue to let him stay here, my daughter might actually go out there and take that money from him.
What?
She told me that she doesn't need a dad, but the money would be really nice. At any moment now, I might take my eyes off her and she'll become $200,000 richer. I have her with me right now, but I can totally understand a child's urge to want that kind of money.
No. Wait a second. Wait! You cannot take that money from him. I need all that money back in order to help myself.
Well, you'd better get over here right now. Ellie is looking like she can't sit down next to me any longer.
I'm going to come get Tom right now, so you leave that money alone. Don't take it from him. I cannot believe all of this. How can Tom stab me in the back at a time like this? Not only did he say no to donating one of his kidneys, but now he wants me back with you. I'm not going to go easy on him for that.
I'm not going to take this money from him, alright? It's not like either of us actually need any of it with the kind of money I'm making now. And neither Ellie or I need such a scummy man in our lives. Tom will be out in the front yard on his hands and knees, so get over here and take him away from us. Alexis was able to make it to my house and collect her husband like I asked, but he made sure that I'd at least got the child support I needed for the past 7 years. So on his way out, he left a bit of money in my mailbox for me to get later on. I think that money will be a good use to Ellie, so I'll make sure to put it in the savings account to be used by her when she goes to college. After getting Tom back into her possession, Alexis started to look even further into what he was up to and found out that he had gotten life insurance for her. This is when she realized that he was planning on taking out all the money from it after she hopefully died from her illness, which caused her to flip out thinking he'd used all that insurance money to come back to me. This led her to say that she'd never let herself die to her sickness and made sure that she was on the waiting list for the donor. I guess she really can wait a little while for a donor to come along, and all she really needed was that incentive that her husband would be getting a lot of money if she passed away. You've got a lot of nerve sending me an invitation to your wedding. Do you know that? Honestly, what even is this supposed to be, Daisy?
Oh, Minnie, don't be so mean to me. I'm just your little sister inviting you to my wedding. Are you really going to tell me that's such a bad thing to do?
Of course it's a bad thing to do when the man you're going to marry is my boyfriend who you stole from me. But you know what you did. Just why do you think I'd ever want to help you and Donald celebrate? I still can't even believe that the two of you are actually getting married.
Well, if I can be honest with you, I'm pretty surprised about it myself. We weren't even serious when I started seeing him. But I guess that Donald just couldn't get enough of me, and before I knew it, he was on his knee proposing to me. And it was a really, really beautiful and expensive-looking ring, so how could I say no?
Well, I'm glad that the two of you are happy, but I'm not going to be going to your wedding, so consider this me officially telling you that I won't be there.
Yeah, that's totally fine with me. To be honest, I didn't even think that you were going to show up to something like this anyways. But you're family, and so I figured that I had to at least send you an invitation as a formality.
Great, well thanks for understanding, I guess. If anyone else asks why I won't be there, just make up some excuse like I have to work or something, got it?
That's a great idea. You did always get more of the brains between us, and I'm glad you see there's no point in letting the family know the truth about us.
Oh, trust me, I don't want nothing more than to let everyone know the kind of snake that you are. But I don't see what good it would do. It wouldn't fix the damage that you caused. Just know that I'm not keeping quiet for your sake.
Yeah, whatever you say. Anyways, thanks for the excuse idea. Hey there, Miss Opal. I'm really sorry to be reaching out to you on your day off, but is now a good time to talk?
Oh, hello, Laura. I'm going to see you tomorrow, aren't I? What is it that you need to talk to me about?
Well, it's actually not about the lessons. I had a more private question that I kind of wanted to ask you. I actually just wanted to ask if you had a little sister.
Well, I do actually have a younger sister, yes. But what makes you ask about her?
I knew it. I'm just curious, though. Is her name Daisy? Because if it is, then is your little sister going to be getting married soon?
Hold on a second. How did you know that she was going to be getting married?
Well, actually, you remember the last time you came over for the lesson, we talked about my son, right? I told you about how he had been dating the same woman for a few years and was wondering if he was going to marry her. Well, it turns out that his girlfriend is your sister.
Wait a second, so you're telling me that your son is going to be marrying my little sister?
That's right. I actually just got the official announcement from my son the other day. Of course, I had met his girlfriend before, and I had always thought that she bore a striking resemblance to you. But then when I started to ask my son about it, and he told me what his girlfriend's last name was, it all finally clicked for me. That's how I figured out the two of you were sisters.
I see. So then I guess that would mean that your son is Donald then.
That's right. Oh, I really am just so proud of that boy. He's turned into such a fine man, and now he's going to be getting married. But I had no idea that he'd be marrying your sister. Sometimes the world really is just a small place, isn't it?
Yeah, you can say that again. I mean, I have to say I'm quite surprised to hear all of this.
I know, right? Who knew that our families would end up getting closer like this? It really is pretty crazy. Anyways, now I'm even more excited for my son's wedding. But I was wondering, since it's your sister's wedding and all, are you going to give a performance there? I really would love it if you could.
You want me to play on my cello for Daisy and Donald's wedding?
Well, you're just the best player I know, and I can already see how perfect it would be for those two to walk down the aisle while you play beautifully. Not to mention the fact that it would just make the whole day that much more special for the happy couple, don't you think? Of course, I would never ask you to do this for free. We'd pay you, but I wanted to ask you about this first.
I see. Laura, I'm really sorry about this, but I already told my sister that I wouldn't be attending her wedding, so I won't be able to perform there either. I'm really sorry about this.
Hold on. You mean that you're not going to be there for your own sister's wedding? But this is a huge deal. How could you not be there? Is everything okay? I feel just awful now that I know you aren't going to be there.
Oh no, I'm fine. Thank you for asking, and please don't feel bad. It's It really is just family drama.
Oh, but you can't miss your sister's wedding because of something that happened in the past. Besides, there are going to be so many other people who know you there. And my family is going to be there too, so please, won't you reconsider? It would be amazing to see you there.
Well, I think I'll maybe have to think about it, but it probably won't happen.
Well, what if you just bring your boyfriend to the wedding too? Maybe you could use this wedding to try and convince your boyfriend to have one with you too. I think Donald said he wouldn't have any issues if people brought +1s to the wedding.
Laura, I really do appreciate the consideration, but I think that I'm just gonna have to turn you down. Besides, my boyfriend is already going to be at the wedding.
Wait, what? What do you mean your boyfriend is going to be at the wedding? Is your boyfriend one of Donald's friends or something like that?
Not quite. My boyfriend is Donald, you see.
Wait a second, what do you mean that your boyfriend is Donald? That doesn't make any sense. What are you going on about?
Or was my boyfriend, I should say. I really am sorry to have to tell you like this, but the fact is that the boy I was dating was Donald. We broke up and it was all because he proposed to my sister Daisy instead.
You mean that you were dating my son and I had no idea about it? How did that happen? I thought you were with your boyfriend for 3 years.
Yes, we were together for 3 years, but it was during that time he started having an affair with my sister, and in the end they ended up getting together and we broke up, and now they're getting married.
You mean to tell me that your sister and my son had an affair behind your back, and that then my son broke up with you to be with your sister? But this is the first that I'm hearing of any of this. How could Donald do that to someone?
You know, we have a lesson scheduled for tomorrow. If you'd like, you could come a bit earlier and maybe we could talk about this. I really would like to be able to give you all the details, as I'm sure you're feeling really confused right now.
Yes, please, if that's all right with you. I think we should do that. Maybe I could come a couple of hours before the lesson was supposed to start.
Of course, that'd be no problem at all. I'll think of all that I want to say and prepare some tea.
Wait a second, what's this? I thought you said you weren't going to be at my wedding, and yet here you are. Am I dreaming? Do my eyes deceive me? I certainly didn't think I'd be seeing you today.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not here to cause any trouble. I just had to watch this unfold with my own eyes.
I really don't get you sometimes, sis. You go on and on about how you don't want to be at my wedding, and yet you change your mind at the last minute and show up anyways.
Well, a lot has happened since I first texted you that I wasn't going.
Yeah, apparently. But I don't really care what you have going on. Does this mean that you've forgiven Donald and I then? Or is this just your way of trying to tell him that you still have feelings for him? Because I only want you here if you're ready to help us celebrate our wedding. Except too bad for you, you already said that you weren't going to come, and so we didn't arrange to have a space ready for you. So if you want to stay here, you'll just have no choice but to stand in the corner of the room and watch from there.
Excuse me? You mean you really can't even bring down one spare chair for me?
I said what I said. If you're going to be here, though, I hope you brought us some cash as a wedding present. I wasn't expecting anything from you, but you should have had the good sense to bring something.
Oh, give me a break, Daisy. Did you really think that I came here to give you and Donald money? I'm never going to forgive either of you for what you did to me, and I'm not here to celebrate with you.
Well, then what are you doing here if not to give us money or forgive us? Do you not think I was being serious? Is that why you're here? Or did you come to try and ruin the wedding? Because that just isn't going to work, so you can stop wasting your time now. You are never ever going to get Donald back, so you should just accept that right now.
You think I want Donald back? I never ever want to be with him again. Do you understand me?
You say that, and yet here you are at our wedding refusing to say what you're doing here. I know you're mad because I stole Donald and he went to a good school and works a really nice job and makes $1 million salary, but you have to let those feelings go.
For the last time, I am not still in love with Donald. Do you understand?
Well, then tell me what you think you're doing here at our wedding right now. Because I am sick of you lying about not liking him when you're clearly here to try and steal him back. And don't get mad at me for not having a place for you when you're the one showing up after saying you wouldn't be here. If you're not here to give us money, then why don't you just turn around, go home, and accept that you've lost to me?
Actually, if you must know, I was invited by Donald's parents.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
I mean that I don't care if you don't have a seat for me on your side. I was invited here, and when I've done what I've come to do, I'll leave.
Wait just a second. What do you mean Donald's parents invited you? I don't understand. Why in the world are you even talking to Donald's parents? How do you even know who they are?
Oh, don't worry, you'll find out all of that soon. But I've got to go and get ready now, so I'll be seeing you.
What the heck was that? Why in the world were you up there on stage playing the cello with Donald's mom? Why were you there when Donald's mom is more than capable of playing beautifully without you there? I don't remember asking you to perform at my wedding.
Well, Laura wanted to perform with me since she'd been practicing so hard for so long.
That didn't answer any of my questions. I wanted to know why it was that you and my mother-in-law were doing a duet at my wedding. And why in the world did she even invite you to my wedding in the first place?
I really don't know what you want me to say. I try and attend all of my students' recitals, and if they want to perform with me, that's fine. But I've known Laura for 5 years now because she's been taking cello lessons from me.
You mean to tell me that my new mother-in-law has been your cello student for more than 5 years now?
That's right, and I was playing at your wedding at her invitation. She said she thought it would be great if we could both play. But she told me that she was too nervous to play by herself in front of everyone else, so she asked if I wouldn't mind duetting with her. Like I said, I'm more than happy to do that for my students.
So then, that's why you were invited to the wedding by his parents? Because you teach Laura how to play the cello?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were quite a few surprised faces when they figured out that I was teaching Laura how to play. And even after I went home when we were done, I got a bunch of texts asking why I left the wedding early.
But then, I just need to be sure about this. You didn't say anything to Laura, did you?
Say anything to her? Just what might you be talking about there? You mean like how you stole her son from me while we were dating? Or that you two were having an affair during the 3 months Donald and I were together? Or the fact that you hid that you were my sister from her all that time?
Yes, all of that! All of it! You didn't actually tell her any of that, did you?
I'm sorry, but I think it's now fair to say that Laura knows all about it.
You're kidding me. Why would you do this to her? Why would you tell her about all this?
Well, we actually had no idea just how close we were to each other. I mean, I had no idea she was Donald's mother, and she had no idea I'd been dating her son. But the secret kind of come out when she found out that you and I were related, and I felt like I had to explain it all to her.
But you said that you weren't going to tell. Even Mom and Dad don't know the truth, right? So then why did you have to go and tell Laura everything?
I'm sorry, but it's not easy keeping a secret like that to me. I mean, for years I had to pretend like my sister didn't steal my boyfriend from me. But I just couldn't lie to Laura when she asked why I wouldn't be going to the wedding and insisted that I be there with my boyfriend.
But why did you have to tell her? Why couldn't you have told her after the wedding? What am I going to do now?
You can't actually think that I'd ever lie to one of my students, right? Besides, I've known Laura for a long, long time. I can't stand lying to her.
I mean, this is seriously bad. I mean, I could be in a lot of trouble. And here I thought Laura was starting to like me. But if she knows what I did in order to start dating her son, then... hold on a second. Just how long has Laura known the truth for?
Well, I'd say maybe about 2 months or so at this point.
But then why hasn't she said a thing about it to me? Do you think she could be plotting something against me? Or was her performance her way of telling me that she doesn't care at all about my past? I don't get it. Does she like me, or doesn't she?
Yeah, I really wouldn't know. I'm curious though, do you know the name of the piece that she and I played today? It's called The Day of Rage.
Rage? The song is called Day of Rage?
That's right, it was actually Laura who picked out the arrangement. She said it would be a good way to express how we were feeling about the wedding.
But then, wouldn't that mean that she's actually mad at me about this? Doesn't that mean that Laura's just furious about what I've done then?
You mean you really couldn't tell from the music? Anyways, it sounds to me like you and your new in-laws have a lot to talk about. Good luck with that.
Miss Opal, I just wanted to thank you so much for yesterday. I was nervous, but we really did it.
I thought you were just wonderful. You've really come so far and it shows in every pull of the bow you made.
That makes me so happy to hear. Thank you so much for that.
Of course, and I just want to wish you all the best in your future cello endeavors.
What do you mean? Are you quitting teaching?
Well, no, but I just figured after all that my sister had put you through, keeping me as your teacher would be awkward.
Of course not. You think I'm going to let my son's stupid mistakes or your sister come between me and the best cello teacher I've ever had?
Oh, I see. Well, yes, in that case, I'd love to continue our cello lessons.
In fact, several family members and friends came up to me saying they might like to start the cello as well. So I'd be happy to introduce some of them to you if you'd like. As for my son, I've decided to cut him out of my life. At this point, I want nothing more than to forget all about him.
You're cutting your son out of your life? Is that a good idea?
Of course, he was lying to me about who he really was this whole time. And he hurt someone I care about, you. But anyways, I really don't want to talk about the subject anymore, so if it's okay with you, I'd like to carry on as usual with our weekly lessons. Is that okay?
Yes, of course, I completely understand. I'll see you next week. After that, I got calls from Daisy complaining that our family and Donald's were cutting them both off entirely. Apparently the rumor mill did its magic at the wedding, and soon all the guests knew the truth between Daisy and Donald. In the end, the two of them decided to pack up their things and start a new life elsewhere. But since he had to quit his job to do so, Donald had to restart his career, with a much lower salary. As the stress built up, I heard that he ended up having other affairs where he was spending all of his money on other girls. I have no idea what Daisy is going to do about any of this, with no other means to provide for herself, but that's a mess for her to get out of. As for me, Laura introduced me to some of her family and friends, and my number of students more than doubled. I was actually able to quit my job and start teaching cello full-time, a dream of mine that I've had for a long, long time. I'm even going to try and rent studio space now that I have the means. Obviously, I wish that things could have gone differently between Donald, Daisy, and I, but what happened is already years in the past, and it's pointless to think about changing now. But in some ways, I guess I have to be grateful for the two of them. After all, if Daisy hadn't stolen Donald from me, then I might not be getting to do what I always wanted to do with my life. Life is funny like that sometimes, I guess.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.